I chose to tackle was the subject of dehumanization, and the direct definition of dehumanization is the process of depriving a person or group of positive human qualities. Now, oppressed groups are normally labeled as minorities, and I don't know about the rest of everybody in this room, but I'm quite sick of hearing that term. We're all different genders, different religions, different orientations, but we are supposed to be. You don't see animals going around enslaving other animals because one is pink and has a curly tail, and the other lives in the river and has sharp teeth. If we're as complex as we're said to be, why do some of our own do the horrible things that we do? Now, the animal that lives in the river eats the pink animal because that's how it survives. Human survival isn't in peril if it doesn't include dehumanization, brutalization, and abuse of other people. With that being said, I'm going to introduce my two books, which oddly enough perfectly match this picture here. The first book I chose was Beloved by Toni Morrison, and the setting is 1873 America during slavery. Though it's primarily a ghost story, I found myself taking a different perspective on it. I really don't think there was ever a ghost. Seeth and her family go through brutal torment and torture due to their late slave owner, school teacher. When Seeth and her children escape, school teacher comes looking for them, and when he finds them, she makes the decision to kill herself and her 4 children due to what might happen if they are captured and returned to slavery. The daughter she kills, Ghost, comes back, but I really don't think that there ever was a ghost. I think that the internal trauma from everything causes this ghost to appear. As I said, my take was kind of open-ended on it, but if looked at in a psychological perspective, there is serious mental trauma here. And honestly, nobody should ever be put in a position where they see death as the only option, and the reason why Seeth and her family were at the time is because of the color of their skin. The second book that I looked at was The Fixer by Bernard Malamud, which is placed in 1911 Russia with Yakov Bach, who was a Jewish man during an era of heightened anti-Semitism. He's tired of being poor, and he decides to disguise himself and move to an area where he's not supposed to go. He finds himself in a very bad situation. He's offered a job by a head leader of an anti-Semitic group, and he moves somewhere where it's actually illegal for Jewish people to live. He's caught and he's accused of murder for ritual purposes, and he's jailed in solitary confinement for 3 years where he's tortured brutally. The novel is like no other that I have ever read before. It's really graphic and really upsetting due to how vicious people were to Jewish people at the time. They're called rats, they're called bloodsuckers, plagues to society, and they live in their own communities where they're literally starved to death and slaughtered, yet somehow they're labeled as a threat. Within the last few pages of the book, Bernard answered one of my biggest questions, which he stated, "A hand reached forth and plucked him by his Jewish beard, Bach, yet any plausible Jew, to be the Tsar's adversary and victim, chosen to murder the corpse his majesty furnished, to be imprisoned, starved, degraded, and chained to a wall like an animal, although he was innocent. Why? Because no Jew was innocent in a corrupt state," which leads me to this slide, where anybody found to be different is not safe in a corrupt state. They're abused, they're held down, stripped of their rights, and that can be seen whether you're poor, like in the movie The Titanic, or if you're a woman, like in the movie Defret. Dehumanization will find its way into any time period, whether it's 4,500 years ago, 44 years ago, or just last year. Something about these people has been seen as undeserving and unentitled to life itself. And something about these beings has caused somebody else to make the decision that they don't get to live a safe, quality life, but to live and to die in terror. I don't know about anybody else, but I really just can't seem to find what that something is. Why do people do such horrible things to living beings? Because psychologically, deeming somebody as subhuman creates a void in morality, which makes it seem justifiable to strip them of their rights and move up the scale of atrocity. Dehumanization is the belief that nature is arranged as a hierarchy. We humans have always placed ourselves at the top and suppose that every other creature around us, which either animals or people themselves, are subhuman, or they don't, they're less than human. Dehumanization has been seen sitting next to a lot of people in power over history. And a a lot of that power has been seen stirring up blame, which more often than not results in some of history's ugliest marks, and over time acceptable human characteristics have changed, and we modernly like to just see that we're not as in the dark as people in the past, but years from now I really think that people are going to be thinking the same of us. There are many places that you can still find it to this day, whether it's in the Flint water crisis, the Dakota Access Pipeline, inner city schools, or even big city subway stations with poverty. People dismiss human rights, and it's always started as a subconscious itch, and once it's given a voice, it plagues the minds of the misled and fearful. It eats its way up the family tree as a spark and is introduced to others, setting each vulnerable tree ablaze. This leads to mass mistreatment of other human beings and sometimes leads to genocide. We have done a good job modernly of recognizing it, but now we must fight it harder than we ever have before. How does one suppose that we do that? By educating yourself about other cultures, exposing yourself to the world, and exposing other people. Do not take steps backwards, and don't allow yourself to be misled. Remember who you are, remember who everybody in this classroom is, and remember the trillions of other people on this earth like us that are living human beings. Don't ever let anybody tell you or treat you like your life has no value, and use your complex mind to educate others, and don't ever stop fighting for those who have been afflicted.